Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name's Justin. Behind me, that is also Justin. We are going to be venturing out in the snow today and looking at a showing which has yielded some high-grade gold, silver, copper ore. Over the last 10 years, we've mined about 10 tons of this deposit, so let's go take a look at it and show you some of the ore that we pulled out. Okay, so this is the deposit here. It covers a span of about 15 meters. You have a mineralized zone, schistose rock, slightly chloritized. You have 3 parallel veins, one which is right over here, one which is here, another one there, and then all up in here you have disseminations of chalcopyrite, magnetite, bit of galena. So this deposit was mined out by us. The first removal was about 8-9 years ago, and we removed about 7 tons of ore, and since then we've removed another couple tons. So the first vein in here is kind of snow covered. All this right here is stuff from the waste rock, and the rest of the waste rock was tossed over the edge right there. So here is a glimpse at part of the exposed vein. You can see still quite a bit of sulfides there, all along in here. And there's some magnetite with chalcopyrite. You got pyrite over here. So still has a lot of value, primarily in this one. This is the largest vein. What we wanted to do today is do a little bit of removal here, just by hand. We want to get a few samples. We got to do completion of a report, so we need a few more samples to send in for analysis. And I think what we're going to do is pull a couple samples, mainly from this vein and this area right here. So let's get to removing some samples. You can see the shearing here. You have quartz carbonate right here in contact with your host rock, and then you have your schistose zone, which is running parallel with your deposit. So all 3 of these veins, they dip down underneath the road. So the reason why we didn't mine those is because this is an area where we are not allowed to disturb the road. So we're basically stuck to extracting the surface deposit. Eventually we plan on doing a trenching program on the other side over here and seeing if we can intercept some vein or part of the zone if it continues. So here is part of the exposed other vein there. So basically what we're trying to do is just get this upper portion of the vein, and we just want to get a nice big chunk of it, enough for an analysis. Gotta love snow. So if you guys don't have one of these, you should get one of these for sure. If you're recording your samples right in the rain, awesome products. This pen is waterproof. This container case thing is waterproof, and so is your paper. So when you're taking a sample, you definitely want to record everything about your sample. Strike, dip, what your sample is taken across. So for instance, he's taking his sample across a 15 centimeter wide vein. You want to note the exact point. One thing we always do is we take pictures to record. So if there's anything we forget to write down, we can look at the picture before we're doing our assessment reports. So you can see there is snow, and it works in the snow. And after you're done recording all your info, you definitely want to GPS your location. Of course, we've already GPSed this multiple times, so we have all that information recorded. So every sample you take, you want to record all the information you can. It is sure snowing out. Got a first portion of a sample here. So your sample doesn't have to be a whole sample, it can be broken up, whatever. Decent mineralization in this piece here. So when you take your sample, you always want to record with a sample ID tag. That way you're not left guessing. We always put one of these inside our sample bag. We also record everything in a notebook in case something gets lost. So right now we're hammering a solid portion of sulfides in the vein, so really difficult to get a solid sample because you can see how easily this breaks. Just crushes in your fingers. So we're gonna scrape as much as we can off here so we can get a sample that's about a pound or 500 grams. That should be a good enough size. A lot of this material down here we could probably just take because it's come from there. So, way to tell if it's sulfides, super easy. A lot of amateur prospectors will confuse pyrite or chalcopyrite for actual gold. Well, there may be gold inside your sulfides. Sulfur, iron, that's iron pyrite. Copper, sulfur, iron is chalcopyrite. So if you were to strike it, it would look like this. So you can see sparks. It also smells like you just lit a fire. That being said, you never want to pass up on a deposit that has sulfides without properly testing it, because gold can be found as a replacement mineral in your sulfides. It can also be found along with your sulfides as free mill gold. So there's multiple tests you can do. You can crush it down and pan it to see if there's any free mill gold. You could send it into a lab, and there's multiple different kinds of tests you can do to determine the value of gold and any other mineral you might have in question. So this deposit here has about 40 different minerals. Most of them aren't economical to mine, and a lot of them are fairly worthless, like the iron. Definitely not enough iron in this, and definitely not large enough to be a deposit of iron. So what you're looking at here is up to about 100 grams per ton of gold. We're looking at about up to 200 grams of silver and up to 10% copper in portions of the vein. That being said, that was more over here. This is quite a bit lower grade, and this was mined out for the gold and silver. So here's a small little, there was a small little chip sample. So you have pyrite, chalcopyrite, magnetite, and a tiny bit of galena in there. So I think we got enough for a sample here. So you have to remember, free gold at a few ounces per ton, it's generally not too visible when you're dealing with loads of sulfides like this. If we were to crush this up, you'd definitely be able to see when we pan it out. But it is going to be very, very fine. We also don't know if this contains 1 ounce, 3 ounces, but generally this vein here was close to the 3 ounce range. Another little piece there. So that's all for the sampling. We got what we need today. Hope you guys enjoyed a short little video.